Hello there, everybody, and welcome to SOC-331, Cultural Theory at the Movies, Distance Learning Style. And thanks for your flexibility. I know these are tough times, but I'm grateful for you all getting in the hang of watching my YouTube videos, which will be a really important part of this class. You'll see every day a new video with me explaining some of the key concepts from the readings and also talking about some of the major themes in the films and helping kind of frame your minds as we head into the discussion boards. So this is just a quick introductory video of me going over the syllabus. So please have that file open, and if you do not have that file open yet, hit the pause button and do so now. So just going through some of the nuts and bolts of the class, I think the most important things I want to mention with regard to the top part of the syllabus is just my email address and the importance of being in touch with me over email. There's literally no other way to reach me because there's no office hours per se. And so please email me as much as possible with any questions you have throughout the semester, and I'll be sure to answer those as quickly as possible. Looking at the course description itself, I want to point out what I had mentioned in a previous email, which is that all of the course films will be available through one of those streaming platforms I mentioned. I actually think that we won't even need Amazon Prime, so if for whatever reason you don't have Amazon, that's okay. I think all the movies will be Netflix and Hulu, and I think one or two other streaming services, both of which are free, always. So yeah, you shouldn't have to pay a single penny to watch any of the movies for this class. And I will be emailing you all the readings on a daily basis. So at the end of the discussion board on any given day, you'll get an email from me that has that night's reading and will also explain how to go about writing your assignment for that evening. Please note that these course films do include quite a bit of violence, sexuality, substance abuse, and or profane language. So this is not a rated PG class. It is decidedly rated R, so just be mindful of that when it comes to the films that we'll be watching. If there's a particular area of content that is particularly triggering for you and you'd like a content warning, just feel free to email me and I'll let you know, and I'll try to be mindful of how to go about having you skip that particular portion of that film. Looking at the course policies, the most important, I think, is the attendance policy, which is pretty strict because in May term we don't have that many class periods. Any more than 2 absences throughout this term will automatically earn you an F. So make sure that you are attending class every single day. You also need to be participating on a discussion board in order to prove your attendance. So if you're not participating on a given day on the discussion board, I will consider you absent, and therefore you will not be eligible to earn points for that day's assignment. Only people who are in class earn points for the assignment. And please also make sure to stay on those discussion boards the entire time, because I will be constantly replying directly to your posts, each individual student's posts. And if I see a student who's not responding to something that I replied to them, asking them for further clarification or further explanation, I'm going to assume that they left the discussion board, and they're going to earn significant point penalties for having left class early. As far as materials are concerned, really all you're going to need to be doing is accessing these YouTube videos, doing the readings that I send you, which will always be PDF files, and then watching the movies on your own time through those platforms, those streaming platforms I mentioned. You will also need to be writing these various assignments, which I'll talk about in a minute, and then uploading those to Canvas and then participating on the Canvas discussion board. So those are the course materials, as it were. Please make sure, as this video already indicated, to have all the files that are relevant for the particular day open on your computer and ready to go when we're going over stuff. So like right now, you should have your syllabus out so that you can follow along with me. As far as behavior is concerned, really, I just want to mention that, if anybody is behaving in a way that is problematic, I will report that to the administration at Bridgewater. I want to also really point out what is probably the most common form of cheating in a class like this, which is plagiarism, and in particular, any duplication that I find of students basically copying one another's work when it comes to any of the written assignments. There's not a whole lot of other ways to cheat in this class, so just make sure that you're doing your own work, and that includes on the discussion boards. If I see duplication on the discussion boards, what I'll typically do is I'll just ask each student to to give me a different example so that there's not that redundancy going on. But yeah, just keep that in mind that you should be doing your own work. Please get me an accommodations email from Dr. Studwell if you would like any accommodations for the class, and I'll be sure to provide those to you. And know that I'm a responsible employee according to Bridgewater's Title IX policies. All right, let's move into the real kind of heart of the matter, which is what are you going to be doing this semester? One of the major assignments, probably the one that will be the one that's top of mind each day, is the participation materials assignment. So every single day what you're going to do is you're going to be reading that PDF file that I assign you, and you're going to watch a film that is associated with that particular reading. You should be taking notes while you're watching the movie and have a really good grasp of the reading, because one of the things I'll be asking you to do is write a one-page document that essentially answers some questions I have that try to bring the reading and the film together so that you are already doing some of that work of synthesizing the theory and the film together. Please note I have some very strict formatting guidelines about how to write those one-page documents. I've listed them in the syllabus. Just follow those carefully, please. And then you'll upload that one-page document to Canvas each day before class starts. So by 1 p.m., everyone will have, hopefully, submitted and uploaded their one-page document. At 1 o'clock, what will happen each day is another YouTube video will surface that I'll email you all. That YouTube video will be me doing some of the larger kind of meta commentary about that reading and film. And then I will invite us into a discussion board, which I will facilitate via Canvas. That will be you proving your in-class attendance and answering questions. And I think in some ways doing some really heavy lifting as far as intellectual labor is concerned to figure out how to really bring together the reading and the film in the most sophisticated way possible. Each of those one-page documents that you'll be submitting is worth 10 points, and you'll have 11 of those through the semester. The first participation materials assignment is the one that I've asked you to do in preparation for today's class, which is the Google Doc introduction. So that will be your first 10 points if you did it. The lowest, your single lowest score for the semester will be thrown out, and I'll only count your top 10 participation materials scores when I calculate your final grade. Moving into the larger assignments, there's going to be an individual writing assignment and a group writing assignment. The individual writing assignment will be a 5-page paper that you will write over the second weekend, not this coming weekend, but the weekend after that. I will be giving you instructions for that paper on Thursday, and then on Friday, Thursday of the following week. And then on that Friday, I'll have a Q&A discussion board to make sure that everybody understands how to write that paper, and then you'll have all weekend to write it. Then the following week, the very last week of May term, you will be working in groups on a group writing assignment. Also, each student will be responsible for writing 5 pages of that assignment, and I'll go over the instructions for that on the Monday of the final week of the semester. So just keep that in mind that we're working toward sort of the tail end of the semester having 2 major assignments, each worth 100 points, and each that will basically ask you to prove to me that you have mastered the material in this class. You can also earn extra credit each day that we have a discussion board. I will always have a Q&A prompt on the discussion board, and that's where you can post questions and answer your fellow classmates' questions. And each time you post a question or answer a question, you earn a half point of extra credit, and then if you do 2 of those, you get a full point of extra credit for that day's class. So that's a nice way to bump up your grade or give yourself a little extra cushion. You can see on the syllabus how to calculate your final course grade. It's pretty simple and straightforward. Moving into what I think is really the main thing I wanted to bring up, which is the course schedule. Let's go over this together. So I will be emailing all of you at the end of today's class with the assignment for the next class for Thursday. And essentially what that will ask you to do is to use the elements of film form, which is a handout I'm going to be emailing you, which is going to go over how to dissect a film. And it's a lot different than maybe you're used to watching a movie because you're going to be thinking about a lot of different things and having to take some really copious notes as you're watching a movie. And you're going to do that with a film that you get to choose. Now, the only rule I have about that is it has to be a feature-length film, and it has to be a film that we're not going to be covering in this class. So I know a couple of you already mentioned, like one person mentioned Moonlight, another person mentioned Parasite. Fantastic films, so good in fact that they are on our syllabus, but you can't use those for this particular assignment. So choose a different film from anything that's on the syllabus. And what you're going to do is you're going to basically dissect that movie using these elements of film form as your guideposts for how to think about the movie. Then tomorrow we'll have our first kind of regular class discussion board in which I will ask you to sort of base your comments off of your one-page document, the participation materials that you will have submitted. And then I will, at the end of tomorrow's class, give you all the reading assignment for Friday, which will be some excerpts from Jasbir Puar, a very, very important and very difficult, I think, theorist sometimes to read. I'm giving you some of the most difficult readings up front because I figure that's when we're all least exhausted. And then on Friday, we will discuss Puar's reading in relation to the film Moonlight. And again, look for, after tomorrow's discussion board, look for an email from me with both the reading assignment as well as the prompt for how to write that one-page participation materials document for Moonlight and Jasbir Puar. Moving into the following week, we will be reading Michael Denning's, or excerpts from Michael Denning's article, Wageless Life, a really interesting piece, and we will be coupling that with the film Parasite. And I think that film is going to be the longest film, I believe, of the semester, and I purposely assigned it over the weekend because I figured that would give you just a little bit of extra time to watch it. It's a little over 2 hours, that film. Moving into the following Tuesday, we will read excerpts from Jodi Dean's wonderful book, Crowds and Party, and we will be associating that with an Icelandic film named Woman at War. That movie will be available for us to watch for free using a digital streaming platform that Bridgewater College's library has actually bought access to. So I'll explain all that access stuff when I send you the email on Monday about Tuesday's class. Wednesday, we'll be covering Avery Gordon's thoughts on the idea of haunting and how haunting is a way to think about both our present and our future. We'll be coupling that with the Netflix film Atlantics, a wonderful film by a Senegalese director. Then on Thursday, we will be covering Bell Hooks and her essay, Love as the Practice of Freedom. We will be relating that to the film Junction 48, which emerges out of the Middle Eastern context, specifically Palestine and Israel. And then on that Friday, we will be covering, or at least you will have been assigned a reading, which is basically a compendium of essays about the film Roma. And you will have to watch the film Roma in preparation for Friday's class. You will also, over that evening, have read the individual writing assignment instructions. And basically that Friday's discussion board will essentially just be a Q&A where I make sure that everybody understands clearly what to do with the individual writing assignment when they go to write it over that weekend. That writing assignment will be due on Monday the 18th. Monday the 18th will also be the day that you will receive your instructions for the group writing assignment. You'll also find out what group you're in. And then Tuesday and Wednesday of the last week of May term will be what I'll call work days, which is basically we won't meet as a class, but you will have individual progress participation materials to turn in each day. So basically, it'll be me holding you accountable to be doing work each day, but we will not meet as a class. I'll be more than happy to answer questions from different groups about the assignment, but we will not meet on Canvas for a discussion board or anything like that. And then Thursday will be the last day of May term for us, Thursday the 21st, and that will be the day that we will. You'll just turn in those group writing assignments, and that will be the last class period for the semester. So yeah, that essentially takes us through to the end of May term. I look forward to hearing your questions about this syllabus during our discussion board. So please, once you finish this this YouTube video, make sure to log into the discussion board and go ahead and send me all the questions you have. I want to answer any and all questions to make sure that we're all on the same page. And stick around, please, to the end of the discussion board. I think our discussion board will last till about either 2 or 2:15. Stick around all the way to the end because I'm going to give a special announcement at the end of the discussion board. So make sure that even if you think you have no questions, you want to see what everybody else asks so you can see my answers to those questions. Maybe it was a question you didn't even know you had. And stick around for that special announcement from me at the end of class. So I will see you all on the discussion board now, and have a great day.